I don't know how they did it. All I know is they did it. I don't think anybody knows how they did it.
Throughout history, fragments of past civilizations have remained silent witnesses to bygone eras. Now, cutting-edge technology powered by artificial intelligence is illuminating these ancient puzzles, revealing hidden text in weathered manuscripts, deciphering faded inscriptions, and giving voice to long silent writing systems. The enigmatic Indus Valley script. One of archaeology's greatest puzzles originates from the sophisticated civilizations that flourished in the Indus Valley over 4 millennia ago. In what is now Pakistan and northwestern India, this advanced society constructed remarkable, meticulously planned urban centers like Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, featuring organized street layouts, advanced drainage networks, and evidence of extensive commercial exchange with neighboring cultures. Yet one crucial element remains elusive: their writing system. Numerous small seals, pottery fragments, and clay tablets display sequences of symbols seemingly representing concepts or words. These inscriptions tend to be brief, often containing just a few characters. Despite decades of scholarly effort to decipher this code, traditional methods have reached an impasse without an equivalent to the Rosetta Stone. Recently, computational approaches have identified recurring patterns within the script, revealing structural elements that suggest systematic rules governing symbol combinations. Though still far from completely deciphered, these modest breakthroughs indicate the Indus people employed a consistent system, possibly for inventory tracking, religious documentation, or formalizing social agreements. The Nazca Lines. Sprawling across Peru's arid plains, the Nazca Lines are monumental etchings carved directly into the desert surface. While barely noticeable at ground level as shallow ditches, an aerial perspective reveals elaborate outlines depicting animals, plants, and geometric patterns. Constructed between roughly 500 BCE and 500 CE, these geoglyphs have captivated explorers, archaeologists, and visitors for generations. Perhaps most remarkable is their sheer quantity: hundreds of massive designs, some extending across vast distances. The hummingbird, spider, and monkey figures stand as celebrated examples, though the exact purpose behind their creation remains debated. Many experts suggest these immense patterns held religious or ceremonial importance. They may have featured in rituals seeking divine intervention for rainfall or abundant harvests, particularly vital in the Nazca region's dry climate. The ice mummies of the Andes. In the high peaks of the Peruvian and Argentinian Andes, researchers have discovered several Inca mummies preserved on mountaintops as part of sacred ceremonies. Among the most renowned is the Ice Maiden, a young girl whose remains were remarkably preserved. The extreme sub-zero temperatures maintained her frozen state, preserving her hair, clothing, and even many internal organs. These mummies are connected to an Inca practice called capacacha, a ceremony performed during significant events or as appeals to deities. Children considered physically flawless and pure were selected for these sacrifices, with rituals typically conducted atop steep, forbidding mountain peaks. Figurines, textiles, and other valuable items were left as accompanying offerings. These frozen shrines on mountaintops serve as poignant memorials to a culture that viewed life and death as deeply intertwined with natural and divine forces. The Scrolls of Herculaneum. When Mount Vesuvius erupted in 79 CE, it famously buried Pompeii and Herculaneum under volcanic debris. While Pompeii often captures public attention, Herculaneum contained a unique treasure, the Villa of the Papyri, home to hundreds, perhaps thousands, of delicate scrolls. Unlike typical papyrus documents, these were partially charred and carbonized by intense heat. For centuries, scholars longed to read them, but feared unrolling them would cause irreparable damage. These texts potentially contain invaluable insights into Roman literature and philosophy, possibly works lost to history. Many early attempts to open the scrolls ended in disappointment as fragile fragments disintegrated. Only recently have researchers refined non-invasive techniques to examine their contents. Advanced X-ray scanning combined with data analysis helps reveal faint ink traces. Ötzi the Iceman. In 1991, hikers traversing the Ötztal Alps between Austria and Italy made a discovery that would rewrite history books: the frozen remains of a man who perished over 5,000 years ago. Nicknamed Ötzi, This remarkably preserved Iceman offered unprecedented insights into Copper Age life. Ötzi's attire included a cloak, leggings, and grass-insulated footwear. His toolkit contained a copper axe, flint knife, and unfinished bow, suggesting advanced survival skills and familiarity with both farming and hunting. Evidence points to a violent end, an arrowhead lodged in his shoulder, and a severe hand wound suggest he was attacked before fleeing to the mountains, likely succumbing to blood loss or exposure. Scientific analysis of his internal organs revealed details about his final meal: ibex meat and grains, and health conditions including lactose intolerance. Numerous tattoos placed near joints showing stress or ailment suggest a form of prehistoric therapy or ritual marking. Pompeii's ancient fast food. While Pompeii conjures images of plaster cast victims and frescoed villas, one fascinating discovery reveals that the city had a thriving fast food culture in establishments called thermopolia. Romans frequently visited these colorful counters with embedded earthenware jars dolia offering ready-to-eat meals. Many residents lived in cramped quarters without proper kitchens, making thermopolia convenient dining options. Counter paintings often depicted animals or ingredients, suggesting menu offerings, possibly stews, preserved fish, spiced wine, or legumes. One recently unearthed location featured vibrant countermurals depicting a dog, poultry, and a sea nymph, adding artistic flair to the ancient dining experience. Modern archaeological techniques like precision ground mapping and close-range scanning help locate these establishments and identify food residue. Analysis of jar contents and floor samples has revealed everything from snail remnants to wine grape molecular markers. Mayan glyphs. The Maya civilization left impressive architecture from pyramids to ornate palaces, but perhaps their most remarkable achievement was their writing system. Preserved on stone monuments, pottery, and surviving bark paper codices, these glyphs combined phonetic and logographic elements, creating visually complex inscriptions that remained mysterious for centuries. Explorers and scholars long admired the intricate symbols without understanding their meaning. Gradually, dedicated epigraphers matched certain signs to Mayan words and sounds. Major breakthroughs came in the mid-20th century, particularly the realization that glyph blocks often represented syllables rather than individual letters. This knowledge illuminated Mayan history, revealing accounts of military campaigns, agreements, dynastic succession, and tribute records. Digital databases now help cross-reference thousands of known inscriptions, accelerating transcription and comparison processes. The Nebra Sky Disc. A bronze disc approximately 12 inches in diameter, adorned with gold symbols representing celestial bodies, may be one of history's earliest concrete depictions of the night sky. Known as the Nebra Sky Disc, this German artifact dates back roughly 3,600 years. The precisely positioned gold inlays form a star cluster, possibly representing the Pleiades, while edge arcs might correspond to seasonal horizon points for sunrise and sunset. Such sophisticated astronomical awareness suggests Bronze Age societies possessed greater celestial knowledge than previously recognized. The disc potentially served to track planting or harvest seasons, or held religious significance representing cosmic order. Austrian Roman gladiator school. While gladiators typically evoke Rome's grandeur or iconic amphitheaters like the Colosseum, the Roman Empire extended across Europe, as did demand for arena entertainment. Near ancient Carnuntum in Austria, archaeologists uncovered remains of a gladiator training facility ludus, demonstrating that these fighters were valued even in distant imperial territories. The complex, featuring courtyards, sleeping quarters, and practice areas, suggests gladiators underwent intensive training, perfecting combat techniques within a disciplined regimen. They learned various fighting styles, some specializing in net and trident tactics, others in heavy sword and shield combat. Evidence indicates these men lived communally with scheduled daily exercises and strict regulations, resembling a paramilitary camp rather than an informal fighter collective. Geophysical surveys complement findings from the site's layout and artifacts, personal items, cooking implements, and protective equipment fragments revealing daily life details. Viking longships. Few images capture Viking-era spirit like longships cutting through northern waters. These sleek vessels with overlapping wooden planks, shallow drafts, and distinctive prow designs enabled Norse explorers to travel immense distances when most Europeans rarely ventured beyond their villages. From Scandinavia, Vikings raided or established settlements as far as Russia, the British Isles, and North Atlantic regions. Longships represented technological marvels for their era, combining speed, maneuverability, and versatility. This advantage facilitated exploration, trade, and sometimes violent raids. Tutankhamun's meteorite dagger. Among the treasures from young Egyptian pharaoh Tutankhamun's tomb lies an extraordinary blade and iron dagger forged from meteoritic material. During Tutankhamun's 14th century BCE reign, iron remained scarce in Egypt, as the widespread Iron Age had not begun. This alone makes an iron dagger exceptionally significant. Adding cosmic significance, the iron contains high nickel content matching known meteorites. Masterfully crafted with a gold hilt and patterned blade, it demonstrates advanced metallurgical techniques. Its presence in Tutankhamun's burial chamber was deliberate. Egyptians considered sky-fallen iron divine. Ancient texts contain terminology translating approximately to heaven metal. Dwarka, celebrated in ancient Hindu texts as Lord Krishna's legendary city, has intrigued scholars for centuries. Stories describe a magnificent settlement that sank beneath waves following Krishna's departure. While some consider this purely mythological, underwater structures off Gujarat's modern Dwarka coast suggest potential historical foundations. Marine archaeologists investigating the area discovered stone blocks, possible fortifications, and wall remnants beneath the Arabian Sea. Artifacts including pottery and anchors appear consistent with an ancient urban center. Though the site's exact dating remains contested, carbon analysis suggests timeframes potentially aligning with historical periods attributed to Krishna's Dwarka in legend. Pompeii graffiti. While Pompeii's volcanic destruction in 79 CE dominates popular imagination, the city provides charming insights into everyday Roman life through abundant graffiti. Unlike formal inscriptions honoring emperors or gods, these casual markings include love declarations, election announcements, and mild insults, essentially ancient social media posts visible to passers-by. Messages vary widely. Complaints about stolen possessions, endorsements of local wine establishments, and numerous romantic boasts. Political statements urged voters to support specific candidates in municipal elections. These spontaneous markings illustrate Pompeii's vibrant character, bustling with merchants, travelers, and families conducting daily business. While volcanic ash preserved the city in time, it also protected these ephemeral communications. Many have been found faded or partially eroded, with advanced photographic techniques helping decipher even the faintest inscriptions. Discovering lines like "Celadus the Thracian gladiator makes all the girls swoon" reveals humor and passions in a community otherwise overshadowed by tragedy. The Giza Pyramids. Nothing exemplifies ancient monumental architecture like Egypt's Great Pyramid. Standing near modern Cairo, Pharaoh Khufu's tomb, constructed approximately 4,500 years ago, remained the world's tallest human-made structure for nearly 4 millennia. Massive limestone and granite blocks weighing tons were precisely cut and fitted, raising persistent questions about construction methods and potential hidden chambers. 4 main chambers have been explored in the Great Pyramid: 2 near ground level, a central Queen's Chamber, and the King's Chamber near the summit. Sloping passages and carefully constructed corridors connect these spaces. Many passages remain sealed or partially examined. The Sutton Hoo ship burial. At an English estate called Sutton Hoo, an amateur archaeologist discovered a burial mound containing one of Britain's most significant early medieval treasures. Though the wooden vessel had decomposed, its impression remained in the soil, revealing a massive ship once belonging to a high-status Anglo-Saxon individual, possibly King Riedwald. The burial contained luxurious grave goods, weapons, helmets, jewelry, and silverware sourced from near and distant lands. The centerpiece is the iconic face mask, reconstructed from fragmented pieces into an elaborate helmet with intimidating visage. Adorned with intricate animal motifs and garnet inlays, it exemplifies the fusion of martial prowess and artistic refinement characteristic of early medieval European culture. Dead Sea Scrolls. In 1947, a young Bedouin shepherd exploring caves near the Dead Sea discovered ancient manuscripts that would become one of biblical archaeology's most significant finds. Dating from roughly the 3rd century BCE to 1st century CE, the Dead Sea Scrolls include portions of Hebrew scriptures, apocryphal works, and community documents, illuminating Second Temple Judaism's religious landscape and providing context for early Christianity's emergence. Preserved in clay containers and protected by the region's dry climate, many scrolls remained remarkably intact for approximately 2 millennia. The Qumran caves yielded texts in Hebrew, Aramaic, and Greek. Notable documents include the war scroll depicting cosmic conflict between sons of light and sons of darkness, reflecting apocalyptic expectations. Another famous text, the Isaiah scroll, closely matches later biblical versions, confirming textual stability through generations. The Oxus Treasure. Discovered in the late 19th century near the Oxus River, modern Amu Darya, the Oxus Treasure comprises approximately 180 gold and silver artifacts likely associated with the Achaemenid Persian Empire or regional Central Asian cultures. The collection includes intricately crafted bracelets, plaques, figurines, and coins displaying elegant fusion of Persian, Greek, and local artistic influences. Many objects feature religious or courtly themes with images of deities, warriors, and animals. Particularly notable pieces include gold scabbard embellishments and miniature chariot models showcasing advanced metallurgical techniques. Craftsmen hammered, cast, and inlaid precious metals with remarkable precision. This diversity highlights cross-cultural interactions flourishing along Silk Road trade networks traversing the region. Though exact discovery locations remain imprecisely documented, surviving pieces in global collections allow experts to reconstruct Central Asian historical fragments. The Siberian unicorn. The term Siberian unicorn might suggest a mythical horse with spiral horn, but the actual creature was an enormous rhinoceros species called Elasmotherium sibericum. Fossil evidence shows it possessed a prominent forehead horn and inhabited Eurasian grasslands. Scientists long believed this massive rhino species disappeared over 100,000 years ago, never coexisting with modern humans. This changed when a well-preserved skull discovered in Kazakhstan was dated to approximately 29,000 years ago, confirming human contemporaries witnessed this impressive animal. Standing over 6 feet tall at the shoulder and potentially weighing several tons, the Siberian unicorn would have presented an imposing sight more intimidating than magical. Researchers infer dietary habits and environmental preferences from tooth morphology and enamel wear patterns.